Kia ora and a very good morning and welcome to this morning report special, the Auckland Mayoralty debate. Who will run the super city? Here with us this morning are Phil Goff, Vic Crone, John Palino and Mark Thomas. We're going to be discussing all the big issues facing Auckland this morning: housing, transport, population, immigration, Māori issues, questions of leadership, questions of character, and it won't only be me asking the questions this morning. We're here live at Auckland University of Technology. This is a joint venture between RNZ and AUT, and if the AUT students crewing the studio are doing a good job, and I think that they are, you'll be able to hear us on the radio as per normal, but you'll also be able to watch this video live streamed on our website rnz.co.nz, or you can watch us on Freeview Channel 50. So we're going to be taking questions from the audience here today, and we're going to wrap all this up over the next hour with a panel of expert analysis led by our Auckland correspondent Todd Niall. Now, joining Todd Niall this morning, Stella Muller, she's a South Auckland entrepreneur, and also Simon Wilson, who is of course editor-at-large of Metro magazine. So let's crack into this. We're going to get into the chunky issue of housing pretty shortly, but let's start with a few brief overview questions to our candidates first. Who's the left-wing candidate here?
I'm left of
centre. The guy on the left.
I got more policies about people than most of them.
Okay, all right. Phil Goff, if I can personalise this, let's say I'm Stephen, I'm a 25-year-old Māori man renting a house in Mangere. Why should I vote? Not only for you, why should I bother voting at all?
Let's take why you should bother voting at all first. It's because this is about the future of our city. This is about the future of more than a third of New Zealand's population, and it's a vital time for Auckland as our population grows and our infrastructure doesn't keep up. If you're 25 and you're living in Mangere, chances are you might be renting your home. Your rents have gone up 5 times, 6 times more than the overall rate of inflation. If you have that Kiwi dream of buying your own home, you can't do it at the moment. If you want to travel into work, each day the roads get more crowded. Now, local government can't do everything about that, but local government, the mayor, can be a strong advocate for our city.
Right.
Okay, second part of the question, why vote for me?
I didn't actually ask you that. But
I was going to tell you anyway.
Yeah, you'll get plenty of opportunities to get into that. Vic Crone, if I may. The turnout has been terrible. Last time we had 35% turnout generally. The turnout for over 70s was something like 90%, but the young ones aren't voting at all. Why is that? Why such apathy?
Well, a big part of it is because Auckland Council doesn't engage youth right across Auckland in terms of the way that Auckland Council communicates with younger people. It's pretty old world and pretty uninspiring. And I think many of Auckland don't actually understand the role that Auckland Council play in our city's success. And if more people got that, then I think more people would turn out.
So what are you talking about, having more apps and getting on Twitter more and communicating with people like that? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I think that's a really big part of it. That's how people today are communicating.
Shouldn't we be voting online this time then?
Well, that's something that is being looked at into the future. But I think the killer for me is that if you look at cities, they are emerging as the growth engines of the world. Where is our growth coming from globally? It's cities. And so young people should have an absolute say in what the future growth of their city looks like. Because in terms of employment, job creation, we talked about entrepreneurs, we've got one on the panel here, that is the future of Auckland. And so part of my job has been trying to engage not just the young people, but even that 30 to 50-year-old generation.
Okay, let's stick with engagement. John Palino, there'll be a lot of people watching and listening to this outside of Auckland. Why should they care who leads Auckland?
Well, Auckland and the growth of Auckland has changed quite a few cities around New Zealand. House prices are going up everywhere, and that's a reflection of what's happening in Auckland. People are moving out of Auckland, moving to other areas because they're getting desperate. They can't afford to live here anymore, and they're moving to those areas. So people all throughout New Zealand should be concerned about what's happening in Auckland.
Mark Thomas, what would you do on your first day as mayor, should you win?
So the first thing is to start preparing a budget, but you can only do that if you've got relationships. I know, having been on council for 6 years, of course, many of the people who I think will be re-elected, the mayor has to propose their budget 3 weeks after they assume office on the 1st of November, and without having the detailed experience of council, the other candidates really won't have the ability to do that as effectively as I think I can.